I'm gonna activate your wristband, Matthew.
At least take me out to dinner first.
I'm gonna put this really orange ring onto your wrist. How does that make you feel?
I hate that orange is the Division's colour. I don't like orange to begin with, and everything is orange.
I mean, I would have preferred yellow, but I don't think you would have liked that either.
No, I want, like, a nice light blue.
I fucking dig the UI of this game. Not the colour necessarily, just the style, the menus. I fucking love it. It's so 2016.
Yeah, I mean, I like the UI, I just don't like orange. It's that simple. But I guess blue is too generic because every game uses, like, a light or dark blue UI with white everywhere.
The problem with blue is the colour of sci-fi. This is not sci-fi. This is
sci-fi as fuck, come on.
This is modern day.
New York has been taken over by some, like, evil, I don't know, parasites. I don't know the story of this game.
Oh no, you're giving this way too much, like, gravitas. It's basically a variant of smallpox. It's like these people had the sniffles, and the world's gone to shit. It's really not as big as you think.
Well, I mean, if America gave out free healthcare, then this wouldn't have happened. Wake up, sheeple.
Obamacare would have stopped the... So this game... right. This game is really interesting. Things I don't like about it, I'm level 14, level cap is 30, I'm about halfway through the story, as far as I know. So I have not played it all. But not a lot's changed in the way this game plays since moment one, so I don't think any revelations are going to happen. That
was my, I guess, hesitation to buy the game, is that there wasn't that much variety in what you do.
So let's go try to go through this organically. Like, I don't want to fucking completely blow out the purpose of my review here. And similarly, I don't think we're going to hit all the areas I want to, but, you know, let's try to break this down. I fucking... You know when we were in the beta, you shot at the glass and you fucking blew my mind with how the glass tech worked.
Yeah.
You could basically just, like, fucking cut holes out of glass using bullets, and it was amazing.
Is this where you say that's the most interesting part of the game?
No, but that symbolizes all that is great about the game, the technical side. The shooting, the movement, the systems. The systems, basically. The systems are just... They're so what I want. I wouldn't say they're perfect, but it's like... What I want from this game, it's better than I would have imagined. But god damn is it not fucking just dry as shit. Like, from a character and... Not even like from writing perspective, but just like there's no fucking character, there's no visual identity to any of this shit.
Well, that's what I thought, like, even in the beta, what were we doing? We were helping some random woman we just met. That was it, that was all it was.
Right, Dr. Kendall is a nice woman, okay? She's actually one of the characters I don't mind listening to on the radio. There's not a lot of them I really like listening to. But have you seen the uproar from her one line of dialogue where she says she had a wife?
No.
So the fucking... I'm not going to say Steam exploded because it's probably a very... You know, it's a minority, I guess. But there's been a somewhat of a sort of... what's the word I'm looking for? Backlash? About this woman, like, about Ubisoft including a lesbian character who mentioned she was a lesbian.
That's ironic because I guarantee most of the people complaining about that are white teenagers... or late teenagers who jack off to lesbian porn frequently. So what the fuck are they complaining about?
Because they don't want to... They're not there to hear what she likes as a person. They're only there, you know, she's only there as a lesbian for their enjoyment, is what it comes down to. That's the thing with porn, you never understand the person's life story. You only see them in action.
That's fucking awful that people are like, oh my god, Ubisoft are pandering. I bet they're like, oh yes, man, Ubisoft pandering to the SJW feminists. It's like, why? Because there's a lesbian.
I get, right, it's like, I saw that line, and I was like, I was surprised in a pleasant way, because, you know, I'm open in that way, you know? So it was like, It was a pleasant surprise, but it was a surprise. So what I imagined was, there's probably a lot of people who are surprised, but, like, the way they express it is in this more negative form, where it's like, well, why are they doing this? Like, they haven't been in a situation where that kind of thing is a rarity. For someone who enjoys that, like, it's a positive thing, but if not, then it does look like pandering, doesn't it?
I guess, but, like, it just seems dumb, like...
Oh, it is, but...
It seems dumb that people would complain about that or say that it's pandering in any sort of way, because, I mean, it's 2016. There are people that are gay and lesbians out there every day. You probably walk past one at least every week.
Yeah. But, like, it's the majority is still you have a husband or a wife, isn't it? That's just how it is. And I don't think a lot of the people who are surprised by that isn't necessarily because they are homophobic, so much as no, it is weird. It's weird. It just is whether or not it's in a positive or negative way because you understand these people or not.
No, I get that it's I guess surprise. Like even here on the Isle of Man, for example, if I saw a same-sex couple, I would be like, oh, that's not something you see every day. But I wouldn't complain about it or shout about it.
I mean, it's even worse for us because we're in an almost singularly white community.
And this community is inhabited by old white dudes who've recently tried. A bunch of them recently tried to repeal the same-sex marriage laws.
Yeah, what happened with that? Like, I don't want to get too political in this video about The Division, but The Division is very much about political and like social fear, so I feel like it's somewhat apt.
I'm not exactly sure. I know, like, at least one or two of the MPs were like, oh, same-sex marriage is wrong, and if it gets passed, then children should have the right to leave classrooms that talk about same-sex relations.
Really? And someone said that?
Yeah, they said that, and then people just called him out on being a homophobic asshole and all this stuff. And
that
then,
was, yeah.
From what I've heard, it didn't pass, but instead they're passing some weird civil partnership law instead.
Oh, something at least.
I'm not exactly sure.
Let's pander to the gays and give them like half of what they want.
Yeah, apparently.
I mean, at some point, like, not being Christian, I don't give a shit about being married in a church, but still, it's the principle, isn't it?
I guess. I mean, I guess everything comes down to the principle. Even in this game, like, the principle that there is a character who is a lesbian will piss some people off or shock them, or I don't know.
It's pretty telling, but I enjoyed that it was an offhand comment. They made nothing of it. It's like the way they treated that transgender character in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. They're there, and whether or not you react to it is entirely down to you, and I think that's very telling. They don't put words into these people's mouths beyond, this is what I am.
I guess.
And yet it incites this almost rabid response on the internet, from both sides,
Yeah, I mean, I like that they shouldn't make a big deal of it. If they made a big deal of it, I could understand people, like, people's reactions to it, but if it was just a passing comment, nothing more, then...
Yeah, it's I think I get what you mean, but it's like, at some point, so many of the audio logs are about heterosexual couples that it's all, they make a deal out of that, but whatever. Like, that's one thing about this game's writing that I enjoyed, was like this offhand diversity, I guess. But so much of this game is just fucking boring as shit, right? The only characters with dialogue that is in any way has any personality are like the people who give you quests as situation boards in the different safe houses. And there's like the first woman you meet is like this woman who's really nice, older woman talking about a sciatica. She's actually okay, but then you meet like a fucking dude who's so into spirituality, like, he'll make a comment about meditation, and I'm like, alright, this guy's cool. And then he's talking about how I'm like a positive aura in the fucking stratosphere of the safe house. And it's like, no, it's so cliched.
See, that's the problem I have with a lot of Ubisoft writing, is they just make big deals out of shit. Like the whole lesbian comment, if it's just an offhand comment, it's fine.
Yeah,
the guy who's into meditation, if he was just like, yeah, I meditate, it's like, okay, that's cool. If they make a big deal of it and he's like, oh, you're such a positive aura in, blah blah blah, it's like, no, you're pushing it too far now.
But they're doing that specifically. They didn't do this with the gay comment, but they specifically did that in a way that is meant to be humorous, and they do that with all those kind of characters. Whereas like they clearly think they're funny, but like it just doesn't play. It's like, I heard it described, and I'm gonna have to steal this, I'm afraid, but it's like the idea that like nodding at comedy is enough. And it's not at all. That's the problem. Like, GTA is a modern world with real character and flavor. Like, you can tell me whether or not it's believable. I don't think it is, but it's got its own commentary on like American culture, and it fucking works really well. Even if you don't enjoy it, it's well crafted.
Yeah, it is well crafted, considering I'm not American, and yet I still understood and got most of the political humor or social commentary on America. Really says a lot to that writing.
I think this game says a lot more about modern America. The entire game is thematically about fear. That's why you have these masses of hoodies. That's why you have like these purging cleaners. It's why you have a faction that's entirely, what if the prison system broke down? Like, it's all about modern fears. The whole thing's set on fucking plague happens on Black Friday. And I think that's interesting. I don't know. I think like the concept's really good, but they fucking goddamn if they don't Ubisoft this game up.
I was going to say that's like typical Ubisoft. They had a great idea, and then they just fail at deploying it in an effective way. Like Watch Dogs could have been great, but it was just Ubisofted.
But to get back to what I like, because I think there are things I really like about this game. Unlike Destiny, these main missions are really satisfying to play. They're diverse. The locations are, despite the fact being in Snowy City, the locations are really quite diverse. They offer a lot of different gameplay variety. The factions aren't as diverse as like Destiny's aliens, because they're not aliens. But there are definitely different ways. I've just encountered the Rikers, and they're a lot harder to fight. They're the escaped prison convicts. So I know there's at least one more faction after that, which is like actually militarized white supremacists, basically.
Oh god.
Again, modern fear in America. It's very relatable. And I imagine they're going to just up the ante about what I'm expecting in combat. I really enjoy it from a technical level. I mean,
technically the game looks and seemingly plays well. It's just the fear I had, there wasn't much variety, and it was just another one of Ubisoft's games that fall flat.
Well, you know how I feel about the Ubisoft open world. This is one of the few that works for me, and I think it's because the way everything is seamless when you're in the open world. Basically, even entering the PvP Dark Zone area, which I really enjoy for other reasons we won't have time to get to. But it's like the missions are simple and often repetitive. The side missions and stuff, but they're just so doable. It's like you're just wandering down the street. I think it flows really well. I think they would benefit from more variety, but I don't know. Like these main missions are so, I think they are so very good, so very unique, and different from one another. That I don't know. I don't think it has the Destiny problem if that was your worry, and I think it does the open world better than most Ubisoft, just by the way you move through it. But yeah, there is no flavor to any of this, visual or writing or really anything. But yeah, there's The Division. Check back for the review soon on GameDropZone.com.